Drake hesitated a little at this odd request, but after seeing Adriana nod her head, he ordered everyone to do exactly as Kevin had said. "Mr. Williams, can you please explain why you want to do this?" Adriana asked with a puzzled look on her face. "Of course. I noticed the candles when I walked in. I recognize one of the smells as something that is used in herbal medicine to lower blood pressure. She doesn't need any expensive tests, just some fresh air." They all watched to see if Gwen was showing any improvement. Dr. Willow still wasn't convinced. There didn't seem to be any scientific basis to what he was saying. "President Wright, in my medical opinion, you'll need to transport this woman to an emergency room immediately." Just then, a group of guests walked into the room led by a tall, powerful-looking man. "Please step aside," Dominic Archer ordered the crowd. The guests respectively made way for him. "Who put my sister on this table?" "Mr. Archer, please don't worry. I can explain this." "President Wright, I don't need an explanation. I just want to know why my sister isn't on her way to the hospital. What are you trying to pull here?" The onlookers started to throw Kevin straight under the bus. "It's his fault," one of them blurted out. He looked at him and snarled. "Are you responsible for this?" "Dominic, I'm warning you. You need to show more respect to Mr. Williams," Drake said as he stepped between Dominic and Kevin. Drake and Dominic had been in competition for years, and he was a good judge of the man's character. But if Kevin was injured under Drake's protection, Cook would never forgive him. "So, what do you have to say, you son of a b****? Your sister is fine. Her blood pressure dropped for a while, but I can guarantee that she'll be up and back on her feet in less than 5 minutes. If she's not, I promise I won't let you leave this hotel in one piece." Just when it looked like the two of them were about to start swinging at each other, Gwen suddenly coughed. "There are so many people in this room. Why am I the only one who fainted?" "President Archer, I've learned that in high concentrations for someone who's sensitive, the effect can be very serious." "What the hell are you talking about?" "President Archer, it's probably just a bit of susceptibility you have." "All right, that's enough." Dominic couldn't hold it in any longer. He gestured for his bodyguards to come over. A second later, Kevin was surrounded. Drake stepped forward to put himself between Kevin and the men. "All of you, stop! I think he's right about this. I've always been kind of sensitive about some things. Remember when we were kids?" The explanation seemed to make sense to Dominic, but he would never apologize to Kevin in front of everyone. Instead, he asked someone to put the gift that he'd brought for Adriana on the table in the corner. Then he helped his sister walk out of the hotel. That night, because Kevin was tired from such a long day, and because he had drunk a little too much to be safe on the road, he spent the rest of the night at the hotel. Early the next morning, right after he woke up, Kevin got a call from Lily. "Hi, Lily. Are you doing okay?" "Kevin, please come home quickly. I need a ride to Grandma's place." "What's the matter?" "My dad's friend disappeared right after he got all the money, so now you should take care of your business first. I'll take a taxi there myself." Then Lily hung up the phone in a hurry. While Kevin was setting up the deal with Tyler, all the Joneses were rushing to the family mansion. Oliver was standing in front of everybody looking fearful and very ashamed. Just then, everyone turned to the entrance as it was announced that Bella Ortez and Eugene Kim had arrived. They were financial partners with the Jones family. "I'm sorry to inform you that our board just had an emergency meeting. We've decided to end our association with your company. We have a reliable report that the Jones Family's corporation has been cheated out of all its assets. To put it bluntly, we do not want to be drawn into your bankruptcy." "President Ortez, President Kim, don't worry. We will definitely reimburse you. But can you please give us a few days? After all, we've been business partners for many years." "Agreed. Out of respect for you, Mrs. Jones, we will give you 5 days." "Mrs. Jones, doesn't your granddaughter's husband know Mitchell Cook and Adriana Wright? Perhaps you can ask them for help." After they had all left, Grandma Jones sat back in her chair and rubbed her temples. How could they raise over $50 million in just 5 days? As they were discussing their limited options, a striking-looking man in a dark suit walked in. "I'd like to speak with Mrs. Victoria Jones." My name is Tyler Dawn. I'm the CEO of the KWTD Corporation. Mr. Dawn, what brings you here today? Grandma Jones asked nervously. I came here to discuss a joint venture that should be profitable for all of us. Everyone became excited when they heard him say this. I'm prepared to invest $300 million to set up an import-export company in Chicago. In exchange, I only want 60% of the Jones family shares. For a moment, the entire room fell silent. Everyone in the room turned and stared at Grandma Jones. They all knew that without this opportunity, they would be finished. All right, Mr. Dawn, I agree to your conditions. A wise decision, Tyler said. I'll have my attorneys draw up the contract and arrange for the transfer of funds. Tyler walked out, followed by his assistants. Then he pulled out his phone and called Kevin. Kevin took a moment to think about what he had just done. Just as he walked out of the Whistler Hotel, a black car pulled up in front of him. They opened the rear door of their limousine and gestured for him to get in. Half an hour later, they arrived at a luxurious mansion. When Kevin entered the foyer, he saw Dominic stretched out on a sofa in the library. Mr. Archer, I don't understand why you've called me here so early in the morning. I know I can be a little headstrong, but in our family, we know how to repay kindness. You really helped my sister yesterday, so I'd like to give you something. Dominic Archer stood up and motioned for one of his aides to place a box in front of Kevin. Yesterday at President Wright's party, my sister and I could tell that you're interested in the miraculous benefits of herbal medicine. We have connections with a research lab that is developing some very powerful herbal ingredients. I believe that you'll find the contents of this box extremely helpful. Then I guess I should say thank you. If I offered you something that could help you reach your goal, how would you repay me? What if I could help give you an advantage? Kevin said as he smiled and took out a pill of his pocket. It was one of the pills that he had made from the recipe in Officer Emmet's old book. How much do you want for it? $500. Okay, $500,000. Deal. But just when Dominic reached for it, Kevin suddenly took a step back. Mr. Archer, I didn't say that I would give it to you for a measly $500,000. With his other hand, Kevin pointed at the small wooden box on the coffee table. He had noticed the ring inside the box as he walked in the room earlier. He walked over to the coffee table, picked up the box, and tossed it to Kevin. Then he called his aide over to have the money transferred to Kevin. Kevin headed back to his penthouse. Kevin, you're finally back. I need you to go someplace with me. Kevin nodded and they headed down to the lobby to send for his car. Lily's eyes lit up when she saw the sleek blue roadster. Where are we going exactly? My mom is having a reunion with some of her school pals. When she saw that everyone else was bringing their children, she called me too. It's near Evanston. Kevin smiled but didn't say anything else about it. After about a half hour, they arrived at the cafe. When Lily entered, Dorothy was chatting with a few of her old classmates. Upon seeing her daughter, she smiled broadly. Then, when she saw Kevin, her smile immediately left her face. Then one of Dorothy's friends looked at Kevin and asked loudly, "So who is this young man?" The woman who was asking about Kevin was Iris Reed. It seemed that everyone in their circles knew about Dorothy's good-for-nothing son-in-law. "This is my husband, Kevin." "Where do you work? What's your position?" "I work for a small company downtown. I help my boss with his accounts. I guess you could call me a clerk," Kevin replied modestly. Nobody was impressed, and it showed on their faces. Dorothy wanted to go over and tell Kevin off, but she couldn't do that in front of all of her friends. Then Iris stood up and waved at a young man on the other side of the room. "I'd like to announce a joyous occasion. On the 26th of this month, my daughter Rose will be getting married. Vito Booker, please stand up and introduce yourself to my friends." "Hi, my name is Vito. I'm currently the general manager at the KWTD Corporation Chicago branch." When he said this, everyone was clearly impressed. "Mom, for the wedding between Rose and me, I've arranged for a limo that's worth $500,000. What do you think?" Before coming to the reunion, Iris had asked Vito to help her embarrass Dorothy's son-in-law. So Vito naturally couldn't let an opportunity like this pass him by. "Then what kind of car do you drive?" Vito asked Kevin. Everyone seemed to think that Vito was in another league and Kevin couldn't possibly compare with him. And Dorothy was ready for her friend Iris to beat her again. My ride? It's just a roadster, nothing special, basic blue color. A that's worth at least $3 million. Actually, the car is my boss's. I didn't buy the car, but my boss gave it to me because I'm doing so well in the company. That seemed to shut everyone up, so Vito changed the subject and turned to Iris. Mom, this is a gift I got for you a while ago. He reached under the table and took out a gift box, then he said to her, This is a small token of my appreciation. As they all watched enviously, Iris happily opened the package. When she pulled out the gift, everyone immediately gasped in surprise. Inside the box was a lustrous green emerald bracelet. This bracelet is beautiful. I hope it didn't cost you too much. Not much, Mom, just about $30,000. Vito, you're more than a son-in-law to me. You're a wonderful young man and a welcome addition to our family. After Iris said this, she gave Dorothy a haughty look. Kevin suddenly put down his coffee and got up to leave the room. Dorothy, why did your son-in-law just leave? Could it be that his tiny little company doesn't allow him to take a day off? A few of the other women heard this and couldn't help but laugh. Just as some of them were thinking of leaving, Kevin came back with a red gift bag in his hand. Before they entered the cafe earlier, he'd already expected something like this would happen. So he texted Adriana and asked her to buy something special for him to present to his mother-in-law. Mom, Lily and I have been married for a long time now, and I've never given you anything decent. This gathering seems like a nice place to present you with something to show you how much you mean to me. How did you find that so quickly, Kevin? Did you just grab it from one of the shops down the street? The room grew silent as she opened the velvet box to reveal a sparkling diamond necklace. Do you like it, Mom? But Dorothy's friend still didn't believe that it was a genuine diamond necklace. How could someone like Kevin afford to buy something so expensive? Just then, one of Dorothy's classmates walked over to her and asked, May I take a look at your necklace? I just studied jewelry appraisal in college, and I'd be happy to give you my opinion. A few minutes later, the woman raised her head and then gave Kevin a puzzled look. In my opinion, these diamonds are all real. Judging from the color and size of them, they're all top quality. This necklace has a value of at least $200,000. Her friends were envious and started commenting on how lucky she and Lily were to have Kevin in their family. One of them even invited them to visit them at their home. Lily and Kevin left soon after and drove back to Corwin Tower. I'm very curious to know what kind of friend would give you a necklace that's worth over $200,000. Oh, it's just a friend who borrowed some money from me a while back. Lily could tell that Kevin was hiding something, but she didn't want to start an argument. She just shook her head silently. When they returned home, Kevin went to the study and pulled out the box that Dominic gave him and looked at the special blend of supplements. Then he opened one of the books that Officer Emmet had let him borrow and flipped through it. After carefully mixing everything and drinking the entire glass, Kevin sat down on the living room couch. He didn't feel any different at first, but about a half an hour later, he let out a long breath and felt a surge of energy. The next morning, Lily got a call from her family. They were having another meeting. She went down to the lobby and took a taxi to the Jones mansion. Now that the KWTD Corporation has invested $300 million to help us get through this crisis, we only have 40% of our company's shares left. Do any of you have some ideas about what we should do next? My suggestion is to forget about the 60% that we've lost. Let's sell off 10% of the shares we have left. We can use that as seed money to start a new company who would be willing to buy any of our shares. I have a friend who definitely has enough money to buy 10% of our shares. Grandma, have you ever heard of Lucas Merriweather? Suddenly, the entire room filled with chatter. Everyone was surprised that Jason knew him personally. After all, he had dozens of martial arts schools, not just in Chicago, but across the country. All right, Jason, call Mr. Merriweather right away. Jason nodded, took out his phone, and called his friend. Jason put his phone on speaker mode. Hello, Mr. Merriweather. The Jones family is planning to sell some shares. We'd rather sell them to you than to some strangers. So I'm wondering if you're interested. Why don't we find a place to meet face to face? I'm in Chicago right now. That's great, Lucas. Have your driver take you to the Jones mansion. About a half an hour later, 2 long limos pulled up at the mansion's entrance. As the tall, powerful man walked into the reception room followed by his assistants, Jason quickly brought Grandma Jones to welcome them. Next, Jason gave Merriweather a detailed explanation of his plan and how he hoped to get his support for it. "I'm willing to pay $150 million for 10% of the Jones Company shares." This announcement shocked all of them, including Grandma Jones. Grandma had been expecting Merriweather to offer half that amount at most. "But I do have one condition. Jason has told me about a cousin of his who is young and very beautiful. So, Mrs. Jones, I hope you will give me your blessing to marry your granddaughter." "Mr. Merriweather, I hate to disappoint you, but I'm already married." "Perhaps you'll consider one of my other granddaughters. She can always get a divorce, can't she? You have no choice but to sell me your shares. Do you think there's anyone else in all of Chicago who'd be willing to pay $150 million for your useless shares? If $150 million isn't enough, I'll make it $225 million. We don't know each other, but I could learn to love you." When he finished speaking, Merriweather grabbed Lily by the wrist. "Mr. Merriweather, please let go." "Let go of my daughter right now." Everyone else joined in and demanded that Merriweather let Lily go. This was outrageous behavior. "Grandma, we can't let the entire family be ruined just to save Lily's reputation." Just as Merriweather was leaning down to kiss her, a powerful hand grabbed his neck from behind. This made him furious. He let go of Lily, and as he turned around, "Get away from my wife. This is none of your damn business. Lily's mine now." The anger flashed in Kevin's eyes as he grabbed Merriweather's arm and pulled him away from Lily. Then he threw the big man 10 feet away. The onlookers were shocked to see Kevin's show of strength, but they knew that Merriweather was a highly trained fighter. Kevin was definitely in trouble now. Kevin and Merriweather were fighting right in the main reception room of the Jones mansion. Although Kevin had taught Jason a lesson at Grandma Jones's birthday party, Lily doubted that her husband could beat Merriweather. Lily shouted as she ran to grab her phone and call the police. "This is an emergency. Come to the Jones family mansion right away. There's a terrible fight." While Kevin was holding his fist, Merriweather turned and gave him a powerful kick to the head. Kevin calmly reached out his left hand and grabbed Merriweather by the ankle. When he squeezed his hands together, Merriweather screamed in agony. Then Kevin grabbed Merriweather's hands and feet and threw him onto the ground with a dull thud. Everyone there, including Merriweather's bodyguards, were stunned. Before Merriweather could get up from the floor, Kevin put his foot on the man's chest, pinning him down. "So what were you saying about my wife, you arrogant bastard?" "I apologize. Not to me, to Lily." I'll do it. Just stop hitting me." Kevin turned the big man to face Lily. "Lily, Mrs. Williams, I'm sorry. I should never have done this. Please forgive me." A few minutes later, they all heard sirens approaching the mansion. Officer Emmet walked in, followed by several backup officers. "What's this all about?" "Officer, please help me." She turned to the other officers and asked them to have 2 more cars sent over. She looked at the Jones family standing in a big circle, then pointed at the men sitting on the floor and added, "Take these guys back to the station for questioning." After Officer Emmet finished giving these instructions, she turned to Kevin and Lily and said, "Please follow me." Kevin turned to Lily and said, "Go home and rest up. I'll be back soon." Then he and Officer Emmet left the Jones mansion. Kevin sat down in the front seat of Officer Emmet's cruiser. She put it into gear and drove through the gate toward the city. After about 10 minutes, Kevin asked her, "Aren't we going to the police station?" "Actually, I already know what kind of guy Merriweather is. I can find out all I need to know from the Jones family." "That pill I made actually helped you, didn't it?" "I really didn't expect it to have such a great effect on me. A few hours after you left, I started to feel fantastic," Officer Emmet said enthusiastically. "If you have one left over, may I have it?" "The supplement has already done its work. Why would you want another one?" "I have a very good friend who needs some help," she explained. "I'm not sure I can help. However, there may be a way for me to help your friend." "How?" "Do you know Dominic Archer?" You mean you want me to pay for it? Kevin slowly nodded his head. As long as your friend is willing to pay, I can do it, Kevin said calmly. Don't worry, money isn't a problem. My friend is pretty well off. How do you know Dominic Archer? And how much did he pay for your pill? How did I meet him? I'd rather not talk about it, but he didn't pay much, just $500,000. Of course, Kevin knew very well that Officer Emmet's friend would never be able to afford to pay that much. Let's go to the police station for a statement. Officer Emmet, I consider us to be friends. In the short time I've known you, we faced a lot together, even fought side by side. I'll just give you the pill. Really? Then he took a small bottle out of his pocket and poured the pill out into his hand. Thank you. Then she quickly took out her phone and called her friend. Hello? Where are you right now? I've got the pill. Officer Emmet said as she hung up the phone. My friend is having breakfast at the Whistler Hotel. We're almost there, so let's head over to meet him. When they arrived at the Whistler Hotel, they took the elevator up to a private room on the 3rd floor. As he opened the door, Kevin noticed that there were 5 or 6 couples in the room. A well-dressed man walked up and stood next to Officer Emmet. I'd like you to meet my fiancée, Kelly Emmet. Today we have another surprise. Mrs. Blair just brought me a miraculous herbal pill. Sherwin, how many times have I told you we aren't married yet, so it's too soon for anyone to call me Mrs. Blair. Just then, one of them looked at Kevin and asked abruptly, Isn't this the guy who married into the Jones family? What's he doing here? Can you even afford to eat here? You probably should have stayed at home. Shut up, Sherwin. Kevin was kind enough to bring you the herbal remedy I was telling you about. Everyone in the room was shocked when they heard that. They really didn't expect Blair's girlfriend to defend Kevin. How could someone like him have any knowledge or skill to make an effective herbal remedy? Before Officer Emmet could respond, Kevin spoke up. Because Officer Emmet and I are friends, I was going to give you a good price, but now I've decided to increase it by 30%. So what? The only reason Kelly has made any progress is her training and her healthy diet. It has nothing to do with that stupid pill of yours. Okay, since her progress had nothing to do with me, then I guess I'll leave. Stop. Who said you could leave without asking for permission? Enough. Sherwin, you're hurting my feelings. Just then, the door opened from the outside. 5 or 6 waiters came in carrying enormous trays. They were used to scenes like this and started serving the meal like nothing was wrong. Then she turned to Kevin and said apologetically, I know this didn't get off to a great start, but can you please stay for the meal? As a favor to me? I'll definitely make sure Sherwin apologizes to you later. All right, I'll stay. Kevin nodded slightly as he tossed the herbal pill to Officer Emmet. She turned to Blair and said, Just trust me, okay? Take this. Blair didn't want to risk making her angry again, so he took the pill and swallowed it. Kevin, at Kelly's request, you're our guest today. The Jones family is on the verge of bankruptcy, so as a favor to Kelly, I can instruct our company to hire you on as a building custodian. Starting salary would be, let's say, $1,500 a month. How about it? Officer Emmet was embarrassed. She suddenly felt guilty that she'd brought Kevin along. So, you're Sherwin Blair. Hardly anyone has heard of you. So this is how you respond to my generous offer? You really are a lowlife. Look who's calling me a lowlife. You should take a good look in the mirror, Kevin replied spitefully. Blair threw his wine glass on the floor. Shards of glass went everywhere. The door was flung open and Drake hurried into the room, followed by a few of his bodyguards. What's going on here? One of the people whispered to the others. This is Drake. He's the head of security here. Hello, sir. Sir, I'm Sherwin Blair. Perhaps you've heard of me. He's the one who broke the wine glass. He was also very rude to my girlfriend. Please, show him the exit for me. Drake, are you really sure you want to do that? As everyone watched in amazement, Drake offered his hand and apologized. I'm so sorry, Mr. Williams. This is all my fault. I didn't recognize you right away, sir. That's okay, Drake. How could you have known it was me?
Mr. Williams, I had no idea that you were eating here today. Unfortunately, we're not prepared for you. Would you like me to set up one of the upstairs rooms for you?
Blair and his guests couldn't believe their ears. Only the most influential people in Chicago were invited upstairs. Not today. Thanks. I'm going to take a stroll.
Okay, Mr. Williams. If you need anything, just let me know.
Drake gestured for his men to follow him out of the room. Officer Emmet sped out of the room and ran after Kevin. Kevin, where are you going? I'm going home. I'm really sorry for all this. Let me give you a ride. Okay. Kevin and Officer Emmet had just gotten to the parking lot when Blair ran over to them. Kelly, what are you doing? He figured Drake had been so nice to him because he was related to Grandma Jones. Just then, a long black car with tinted windows screeched to a stop in front of them. The door opened and someone fired what must have been tranquilizer darts at them. The three of them woke up, one after another, in what looked like the basement of an industrial building. Let me go! A second later, a man punched Blair in the stomach. He collapsed to the floor, writhing in pain. Who do you people think you are? I'm a lieutenant at the 30th District Station. We know who you are, Officer Emmet. That's why you're here. You captured dozens of my men lately. The day before yesterday, you were looking everywhere for me. Xavier Marshall from the Alliance? What do you want from me? Officer Emmet, you have very handsome companions. Marshall, let them go. I was the one who gave the order for your men to be arrested. It's my responsibility, not theirs. She knew very well what kind of dangerous organization the Alliance was. Her department had been trying to stop them for years. She's right. I'll pay $5 million for Officer Emmet's life and my own. Then Marshall turned around and looked at Kevin. Tell me, how much money would you pay in exchange for your life? You may be interested in my ring. Kevin showed him the ring he had taken from Dominic Archer. Kevin had a feeling that there was something special about the ring, but he didn't know exactly what it was. Where did you get this ring from? It's always been mine. When Marshall heard this, he looked like he'd been slapped in the face. Take him to the next room. I want to interrogate him properly. Then he turned around and left the cell. Two strong men escorted Kevin to the next room. When they got to the other room, Marshall asked the two men to leave. I'm sorry, sir. I had no idea you were the Night King. When Kevin heard this, he was puzzled. He had no idea who or what the Night King was. But now that he saw Marshall treating him like his superior, Kevin figured he could take advantage of the situation to get out of the place. Well, I can't fault you for your ignorance. Just do your job and leave the rest to me. Yes, sir. What Kevin didn't know yet was that nobody in the Alliance knew exactly where the Night King was. Marshall had obviously never met him. That's why he'd been caught by surprise when he saw Kevin wearing the ring. I haven't eaten anything today. I'll get someone to make something for you right away. Kevin nodded indifferently and Marshall left the room. Once Marshall was gone, Kevin took a look around the room. Kevin saw a black box. Inside, there was a small vial of powder and a book on how to prepare advanced herbal remedies. Then his eye caught a recipe for a powerful hallucinogenic powder that looked a lot like the one in the vial. Based on the description, it seemed to be some kind of herbal weapon. What the hell is going on here? Everybody seems to be into obscure herbal ingredients. First Cook, then Officer Emmet and Dominic, now this guy. Kevin heard a burst of hurried footsteps outside the door, so he stuffed the book and the powder under his shirt. Then he quickly closed the box and returned to his seat. When Marshall returned, Kevin clearly noticed that he'd glanced at the box. Hurry up and bring the food and wine. 3 men came in with trays of sandwiches and fruit, along with a few bottles of wine. They placed it all on the table and hurried out of the room. Would you like to sit down and join me? I couldn't impose. Please, enjoy your meal. I'll be waiting outside the door if you need anything. Then Marshall rushed out of the room. Kevin finished off the meal pretty quickly. Then he opened one of the bottles of wine and poured some of the powder into it. Is there anyone out there? Marshall immediately pushed the door open and entered. I'd like to reward your men for their diligence, Kevin said as he casually offered the bottle of wine. Thank you for your kind offer. However, we only drink to celebrate. Are you telling me that my arrival here isn't something worth celebrating? I'll give it to them right away, Marshall said gratefully as he headed out the door. Kevin was starting to feel like his plan might work. Once these people drank enough wine, he could try to save Officer Emmet. But he still had some doubts. He'd gotten his ring from Dominic Archer. Whoever wore it obviously wielded a lot of power. But what was the relationship between Dominic and the Alliance? But he'd have to figure that out later. Right now, Kevin's top priority was to get out of this place. Kevin poured more of the hallucinogen into the rest of the bottles of wine. "Come back in." Two of Marshall's men immediately walked in. "Why don't the two of you take this wine and share it with the rest of the gang?"
"Thank you, sir."
After the two of them left, Kevin walked over to the room where Officer Emmet and Blair were being held. As he approached, the guards greeted him politely. "Go and have a drink and a bite to eat with your buddies. I can watch these guys for a while." They headed over to join their comrades. "Kevin, what the hell is going on? Why are they calling you sir? They probably think I'm some big shot." A few seconds later, outside the room, there was a heavy thud. Then there was another one, along with the sound of breaking glass. "I drunk their wine. Don't just stand there. Hurry up and let us out." Kevin ignored Blair and walked over to Officer Emmet, who was still tied to her chair. Kevin untied her and helped her stand up. "I don't know exactly how long they'll be knocked out. We need to leave as soon as possible." "Can't you see that I'm still tied up? Let me out." "Kevin, I know Blair is far from perfect, and I apologize for his behavior, but please let him out anyway, okay?" "Apologize? It's up to him to apologize, not you." "Kevin, you piece of shit. You want me to apologize to you? Dream on. Don't you know who Marshall is? If we leave you here, you'll be dead by morning. Kevin, I'm begging you. Let Blair out." "Okay, I'll do it for you, not him, but there's just one condition."
Hi, Kevin here. If you are wondering what happens next, then download the Pocket FM app and listen to the exciting episodes of Insta Empire now with the link in the description.